The blood-stained ceiling blurred into focus as Oliver Owen regained consciousness, his head throbbing with pain he couldn't quite place. He tried to move, but his body responded with sharp protests from what felt like a dozen different injury sites. The air smelled wrong, sterile, yet alien, with undertones of something like cinnamon and burnt metal. "Subject has regained consciousness," announced a melodic voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Oliver attempted to sit up, but found himself restrained by some sort of transparent gel-like substance that covered his body from the neck down. The restraint was firm, yet somehow gentle, molding perfectly to his form, while keeping him immobilized on what appeared to be an examination table. "Where am I?" he croaked, his throat painfully dry. "What happened?" A tall figure stepped into his field of vision. The being stood at least 7 feet tall with a slender frame covered in iridescent scales that shifted from deep purple to midnight blue as it moved. Its face was vaguely humanoid, but with 4 pitch-black eyes arranged in a diamond pattern above a small mouth. 2 long, thin arms ended in 6-fingered hands that moved with surprising grace. "You are aboard the medical vessel Elurin," the alien said, its voice now clearly coming from the being itself rather than the room. "I am Dr. Vex, Chief Medical Officer. You were found in the debris field of what appears to have been a human vessel." Oliver's memory came flooding back the research mission to Saturn's moon Titan, the unexpected solar flare that had knocked out their communications. Then the catastrophic failure in the ship's oxygen recycling system, the evacuation order, the chaos, the escape pod. "The others," Oliver gasped. "My crew." "You were the only life form detected in your sector of the debris field," Dr. Vex stated matter-of-factly. "The rescue drone recovered only your escape pod, which had sustained significant damage." "That's not possible," Oliver insisted, panic rising in his chest. "There were 5 other pods that launched. Captain Reynolds, Dr. Miller, technicians Zhang and Patel, navigator Kim." Dr. Vex's upper eyes blinked in what might have been sympathy, but the lower pair remained fixed on Oliver. "I cannot speak to what happened to other escape pods. My responsibility is your medical care." The alien doctor moved to a translucent console nearby. "Your injuries are extensive, but not beyond our capabilities to treat." As Dr. Vex's 6 fingers danced across the holographic interface, Oliver became aware of a deep, persistent pain in his left leg and a stabbing sensation in his right side with every breath. He tried to look down at his body, but the restraining gel obscured his view. "How bad is it?" Oliver asked, trying to keep the fear from his voice. "Multiple fractures to your left femur and tibia, 3 broken ribs, punctured right lung, laceration to your liver, and significant radiation exposure," Dr. Vex listed clinically. "You also sustained a concussion and numerous contusions. By human standards, your condition would be classified as critical." The alien doctor picked up a handheld device that resembled a silver rod with intricate circuitry running along its length. "This is a comprehensive diagnostic scanner. It will provide a complete analysis of your biological status." Before Oliver could respond, Dr. Vex passed the device over his body from head to toe. The rod emitted a soft humming sound and pulsed with blue light. When the scan completed, the device projected a holographic display in midair, filled with symbols Oliver couldn't understand. Dr. Vex studied the display, the scales around what Oliver assumed was a brow furrowing slightly. The alien pressed something on the scanner, and the symbols rearranged themselves, then pressed again, and again. "Is something wrong?" Oliver asked, a new fear blooming in his chest. Dr. Vex remained silent, continuing to adjust settings on the scanner. Finally, the alien turned to a larger machine adjacent to the examination table and inserted the scanning device into an opening. The machine whirred to life, processing the data. A moment later, a single word appeared on the display screen in English. "Survivor." Dr. Vex stared at the screen, all 4 eyes widening. "This is unexpected." "What does it mean?" Oliver asked. "Our diagnostic systems are designed to provide comprehensive medical reports, detailed anatomical analysis, biological function assessment, treatment recommendations, prognosis calculations." Dr. Vex's voice had taken on a new quality, something Oliver might have interpreted as awe if he understood alien emotions better. "Never in my practice has the system returned a single word." Oliver felt a chill that had nothing to do with his injuries. Maybe your translation program is malfunctioning? The system isn't translating, Dr. Vex explained. It's generating its analysis directly in your language for your benefit. But this output, the alien gestured at the screen. This is unprecedented. A door on the far side of the medical bay slid open, and another alien entered. This one was shorter than Dr. Vex, with scales and shades of amber and gold. Its movements were quick and precise as it approached. Chief Science Officer Nara, Dr. Vex acknowledged with a slight bow of its head. I was notified of an anomalous diagnostic reading, Nara said, its voice higher pitched than Dr. Vex's. Is this the human specimen? Patient, Dr. Vex corrected. And yes, this is Oliver Owen, recovered from a human vessel debris field near Titan. Oliver felt Nara's gaze, intense and analytical, sweep over him. Show me the diagnostic output, Nara demanded. Dr. Vex gestured to the screen, still displaying the single word. Impossible, Nara whispered. Run it again. Dr. Vex retrieved the scanning device and once more passed it over Oliver's body. The process was repeated, the data processed, and the result was the same. Survivor. What does this mean? Oliver asked again, his anxiety growing. Nara turned to him, all eyes focused intently. It means, human, that you shouldn't be alive. According to every medical parameter we understand about your species, your injuries, combined with the radiation exposure and the time spent in vacuum before rescue, should have been fatal. But I am alive, Oliver pointed out. Precisely, Dr. Vex interjected. And our diagnostic system, rather than providing a standard medical assessment, has identified this fundamental truth as the most significant aspect of your condition. You are, against all probability, a survivor. Nara moved closer to the examination table. We need to understand why. Your physiology may contain adaptations or anomalies unknown to our database of human medical science. Oliver felt a surge of alarm. What exactly are you suggesting? A full biological workup, Nara replied. Tissue samples, genetic sequencing, cellular analysis. That will not be necessary at this time, Dr. Vex interrupted firmly. Our primary duty is to treat the patient's injuries. Scientific curiosity must be secondary to medical ethics. Nara's scales rippled in what Oliver interpreted as irritation. This could be a significant scientific discovery. And Mr. Owen is a sentient being under my care, not a research specimen, Dr. Vex countered. We will proceed with standard treatment protocols. Oliver felt a wave of gratitude toward the alien doctor. Thank you. Dr. Vex acknowledged him with a slight nod before turning to a cabinet that opened at the alien's approach. We will begin by stabilizing your fractures and repairing your internal injuries. What about my crew? Oliver asked. Can you search for other survivors? Dr. Vex paused, extracting several vials of luminescent liquids from the cabinet. Search and rescue operations continue in the debris field. If others survived, they will be found. Nara made a sound that might have been a scoff. The probability of additional survivors is statistically negligible. Yet we have one survivor before us who defies statistical probability, Dr. Vex pointed out. Perhaps we should not be so quick to dismiss possibilities. Nara's scales flattened against its body. I will return later to discuss further examination options. With that, the science officer departed, leaving Oliver alone with Dr. Vex. Is he always so intense? Oliver asked. Chief Science Officer Nara can be overly focused on research potential, Dr. Vex replied diplomatically while preparing what appeared to be an injection. But I assure you, your rights as a patient are protected under interstellar medical conventions. I appreciate that, Oliver said. So what happens now? Now we begin treatment, Dr. Vex explained. This first injection contains nanomechanical repair units specifically calibrated to human biology. They will address your internal injuries, the punctured lung and liver laceration, while simultaneously beginning bone reconstruction. Oliver felt a momentary sting as the injection was administered through the restraining gel, which parted to allow the needle through before resealing seamlessly. The process will take approximately 12 Earth hours, Dr. Vex continued. During this time, you may experience sensations of warmth, tingling, or mild discomfort as the nano units work. I will administer a mild sedative to help you rest through the most intensive repair phases. As the sedative took effect, Oliver's thoughts drifted to his crewmates. Had any of them survived? What did it mean that the diagnostic machine had identified him simply as a survivor? Was there something different about him, or was it merely acknowledging the miraculous nature of his continued existence? These questions swirled in his mind as consciousness slipped away. When Oliver awoke, the restraining gel had receded, covering only his left leg now. The pain in his chest and side had diminished considerably, though a deep ache remained in his bones. "Good morning, Mr. Owen," Dr. Vex greeted, approaching the examination table. "How are you feeling?" "Better," Oliver admitted, carefully taking a deep breath that no longer stabbed pain through his chest. "How long was I out?" "Approximately 14 Earth hours," Dr. Vex replied. "Your body required additional time to integrate the nanomechanical repairs." Oliver tried to sit up, and found he could do so with only moderate discomfort. Looking down at his body, he was surprised to see no external signs of the severe injuries he'd sustained. No surgical scars, no bruising, just healthy skin. "The internal damage has been repaired," Dr. Vex explained, noticing Oliver's surprise. "Your lung is functioning at 92% capacity and will continue to improve. The liver laceration has been sealed and regenerative processes stimulated. Your ribs have been reconstructed using a calcium-carbon matrix that will eventually be replaced by your own bone tissue." "And my leg?" Oliver asked, looking at the gel still encasing the limb. The femur and tibia fractures were more complex. "The gel is maintaining proper alignment while the nano-units continue their work. You should be able to bear weight on it in approximately 48 hours, though full strength will take longer to return." Oliver nodded, then asked the question that had been weighing on his mind since he'd regained consciousness. "Has there been any word about other survivors from my ship?" Dr. Vex's scales shifted to a deeper blue. "I regret to inform you that no other life signs have been detected in the debris field. The search has been expanded to account for a possible escape pod drift. But after this amount of time..." The alien didn't need to finish the sentence. Oliver felt a crushing wave of grief. 28 crew members, colleagues, friends all gone. Only he had survived. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why am I the only one who made it?" Dr. Vex set down the medical instruments it had been holding and moved closer to Oliver's bedside. "That is a question I cannot answer with medical science, but perhaps it is the same question our diagnostic system was acknowledging." The door to the medical bay slid open again, and Chief Science Officer Nara entered, accompanied by a third alien. This newcomer was taller than both Vex and Nara, with darker scales and deep emerald tones, and an elaborate collar around its neck that seemed to denote some kind of rank or status. "Ship Commander Trex," Dr. Vex said, straightening to attention. "I was not informed you would be visiting the medical bay." "The situation warrants my personal attention," Commander Trex replied, its voice deeper and more resonant than either Vex or Nara. The commander's gaze settled on Oliver. "So, this is the human anomaly." "This is patient Oliver Owen," Dr. Vex corrected, with what Oliver was beginning to recognize as characteristic insistence on proper medical terminology. Commander Trex approached the examination table. "Mr. Owen, I am Commander Trex of the Sylvani Confederation vessel Elurin. On behalf of the Confederation, I extend our sympathies for the loss of your vessel and crew." "Thank you," Oliver replied, unsure of the proper protocol for addressing an alien commander. "Chief Science Officer Nara has brought a concerning matter to my attention," Trex continued. "The unusual diagnostic reading your scan produced suggests you possess unique biological properties that may be of significance." Oliver glanced at Dr. Vex, who had gone very still. "I've already explained to Officer Nara that extensive experimental procedures would be premature while the patient is still recovering from life-threatening injuries," Dr. Vex stated firmly. "Your concern for the patient's well-being is noted, Doctor," Commander Trex acknowledged. "However, this goes beyond routine medical care. If this human possesses biological adaptations that allowed him to survive conditions that should have been fatal, understanding those adaptations could benefit countless lives across multiple species." "I'm not special," Oliver interjected. "I was just lucky. Right place in the escape pod, right angle during entry into Saturn's atmosphere, right timing for your rescue drones to find me." "Perhaps," Nara said, stepping forward. Or perhaps not. Our diagnostic systems are the most advanced in 3 galactic sectors. They don't identify luck as a medical condition. Commander Trex turned to Dr. Vex. What is your medical assessment of the patient's readiness for additional diagnostic procedures? Dr. Vex's scales rippled with what Oliver had come to recognize as concern. His condition has stabilized, but full recovery is still ongoing. Any additional procedures should be minimally invasive and spaced appropriately to allow for rest and integration of treatments. That seems reasonable, Trex agreed. Officer Nara, you will coordinate with Dr. Vex to develop a testing protocol that meets these medical requirements. Nara's scales brightened visibly. Yes, Commander. I've already prepared several preliminary protocols that... Do I get a say in this? Oliver interrupted. All 3 aliens turned to look at him. Of course, Commander Trex replied after a moment. You are not a prisoner, Mr. Owen. You are under our protection according to interstellar rescue protocols. However, I would encourage you to consider the scientific value of cooperating with our research team. And if I refuse? Oliver asked. Then we would respect your decision, Commander Trex stated. We would continue your medical treatment until you are fully recovered, then arrange transport to the nearest human outpost when our mission in this sector is complete approximately 3 Earth months from now. Oliver weighed his options. On one hand, he was uncomfortable with being treated as a scientific curiosity. On the other, he was curious himself about what had allowed him to survive when his crewmates had not. What exactly would these tests involve? He asked Nara. Primarily non-invasive scans at the cellular and molecular level, Nara explained. Some blood and tissue samples would be required, but nothing that would impede your recovery. We're particularly interested in how your body responded to the radiation exposure. Oliver looked to Dr. Vex. Would you oversee these procedures to ensure they remain within medical ethics guidelines? I would insist upon it, Dr. Vex confirmed. After a moment's consideration, Oliver nodded. All right. I'll cooperate with your research on the condition that Dr. Vex approves all procedures and that I receive complete information about what you're looking for and what you find. Agreed, Commander Trex said before Nara could respond. And we appreciate your cooperation, Mr. Owen. Officer Nara, you will provide Dr. Vex with your proposed protocol for review by ship's morning. With that, Commander Trex departed, leaving Nara looking simultaneously pleased and frustrated. I will begin preparations immediately, Nara announced, then followed the commander out. When they were alone again, Oliver turned to Dr. Vex. Thank you for advocating for me. It is my duty, the alien doctor replied simply. Now, let us continue with your treatment. The nano units will need recalibration to accelerate the bone healing in your leg. Over the next 3 days, Oliver's recovery progressed remarkably. The restraining gel was removed from his leg, and he began physical therapy exercises under Dr. Vex's supervision. Simultaneously, Nara's research team conducted their approved tests, detailed scans, blood draws, and small tissue samples taken under local anesthesia. On the 4th day, Nara burst into the medical bay while Dr. Vex was helping Oliver test his weight on his healing leg. We've found it, Nara announced, scales shimmering with excitement. We've identified the anomaly. Dr. Vex helped Oliver back to the bed before addressing Nara. What have you discovered? A genetic mutation, Nara explained, activating a holographic display that showed what Oliver assumed was a strand of DNA, though it looked different from the human DNA representations he'd seen. It's subtle, easy to miss if you're not specifically looking for it, but it affects how his cells respond to radiation damage. Is it harmful? Oliver asked, suddenly concerned. Quite the opposite, Nara said. The mutation causes your cells to enter a specialized protective state when exposed to radiation above a certain threshold. Instead of dying, they essentially hibernate while cellular repair mechanisms work at an accelerated rate. Dr. Vex studied the display. I've never seen this particular mutation in human genetic profiles. It's extremely rare, Nara confirmed. Our database suggests it appears in less than 0.001% of the human population, and it's never been documented in relation to radiation exposure of this magnitude. So that's why I survived? A genetic fluke? Oliver asked. That's part of it, Nara said. But there's more. The mutation alone wouldn't account for your survival. It was the combination of this genetic factor with the specific conditions of your escape pod's trajectory that created a unique scenario. Dr. Borist sees Vex's scales shifted to a thoughtful blue-green. The diagnostic scanner identified the improbability of this combination. Rather than attempt to quantify all factors, it simply acknowledged the fundamental truth: you are a survivor against all statistical probability. "What does this mean for me going forward?" Oliver asked, trying to process this information. "Am I going to experience side effects from this mutation?" "Not likely," Dr. Vex assured him. "The mutation appears to be dormant until triggered by specific environmental conditions. In normal circumstances, it has no effect on cellular function." "The scientific implications are enormous," Nara added. "If we can understand how this mutation works on a molecular level, we might be able to develop treatments to help others survive extreme radiation exposure. With your permission, we would like to continue studying your genetic material." Oliver nodded slowly. "If it can help save lives, yes." "Excellent," Nara said. "I'll inform Commander Trex of our findings immediately." After Nara left, Oliver sat in silence for several minutes, processing everything he'd learned. "It doesn't seem fair," he finally said to Dr. Vex, "that I survived because of some random genetic mutation when 27 others didn't." "Survival rarely follows our concepts of fairness," Dr. Vex replied gently. "But perhaps you can honor those lost by ensuring their deaths contribute to greater understanding." "By being your lab specimen?" Oliver asked, a hint of bitterness in his voice. "By being a bridge between our species," Dr. Vex corrected. "The Sylvani Confederation has had limited contact with humans. Your presence here, and the knowledge we gain from studying your unique physiology, could lead to medical advances that benefit both our peoples." Over the following weeks, Oliver's recovery continued alongside Nara's research. As he regained his strength, he was given more freedom to move around the ship, always accompanied by a crew member. The Elurin was vast, with a crew of nearly 200 Sylvani working in various scientific and operational capacities. Oliver learned that the Sylvani were primarily a research and diplomatic species, with little interest in territorial expansion. Their mission near Saturn had been to study the unusual electromagnetic patterns in the planet's rings, not to make contact with humans. Finding Oliver had been an unexpected development. 6 weeks after his rescue, Oliver was summoned to a meeting with Commander Trex, Dr. Vex, and Officer Nara. They gathered in a conference room with a large viewport that offered a breathtaking view of Saturn and its rings. "Mr. Owen," Commander Trex began once they were all seated, "your recovery has progressed exceptionally well, and Officer Nara informs me that the primary research into your genetic anomaly has been completed." "That's good news," Oliver said cautiously. "Indeed. We have made significant discoveries that may lead to new radiation protection technologies for multiple species," Trex continued. "As promised, we are now preparing to return you to human jurisdiction. We will be rendezvousing with a human research station near Jupiter in approximately 2 Earth weeks." Oliver felt a complex mix of emotions: relief at returning to his own kind, but also a strange reluctance to leave the Sylvani, who had saved his life and treated him with respect. "I appreciate everything you've done for me," he said sincerely. "Before you return, however," Nara interjected, "we have a proposal to discuss with you." "What kind of proposal?" Oliver asked. Commander Trex took over. "The Sylvani Confederation has long been interested in establishing a more formal scientific exchange program with Earth. Your unique circumstances provide an opportunity. We would like to offer you a position as a scientific liaison between our peoples." Oliver was stunned. "Me? I'm a mechanical systems engineer, not a diplomat." "Which makes you ideally suited for this role," Nara explained. "You understand human technology, you've experienced Sylvani medical science firsthand, and you've demonstrated an admirable ability to adapt to unexpected circumstances. The position would initially involve a 6-month assignment aboard the Elurin," Commander Trex elaborated. "You would help our scientists understand human technology better while learning about our systems. After that period, you could return to Earth as our official scientific representative, facilitating ongoing exchange programs." "This is unexpected," Oliver admitted. "I'll need time to consider it." "Of course," Trex agreed. You have until we reach the Jupiter station to make your decision. After the meeting, Oliver found himself back in the medical bay with Dr. Vex, who was conducting what would likely be a final checkup. You've made a remarkable recovery, Dr. Vex noted, as various instruments monitored Oliver's vital signs. Your bone density in the repaired leg is now within 2% of your undamaged leg, and lung function is at 99%. Thanks to you, Oliver said. If I hadn't been brought aboard this ship, if you hadn't treated me, the diagnostic was correct, Dr. Vex said simply. You are a survivor, Mr. Owen. Perhaps not merely because of genetic anomalies or fortunate circumstances, but because of something more fundamental to your nature. What do you mean? Dr. Vex's scales shifted thoughtfully. In my years of medical practice, I've observed that survival sometimes transcends purely physical factors. There is a quality in some beings, a persistence, a will to continue that defies medical explanation. Oliver thought about this as Dr. Vex completed the examination. What do you think I should do about the liaison position? He asked finally. That is not a medical question, Dr. Vex replied. I'm asking for your personal opinion, Oliver clarified. Dr. Vex was silent for a moment. I believe that when one survives against all probability, it creates a certain responsibility, an opportunity to give meaning to that survival. Whether you choose to do so aboard this vessel or elsewhere is a decision only you can make. The days passed quickly as the Elurin approached the Jupiter research station. Oliver spent much of his time in the ship's data center, learning what he could about Sylvani culture and technology while considering Commander Trex's offer. He thought often about his lost crewmates. Would Captain Reynolds have wanted him to accept this unprecedented opportunity for human Sylvani cooperation? Would Dr. Miller have been fascinated by the potential scientific advancements such an exchange could bring? The night before they were scheduled to arrive at the Jupiter station, Oliver stood alone in an observation lounge, watching the massive gas giant grow larger in the viewport. Jupiter's great red spot swirled visibly, a storm that had raged for centuries. Somehow, it seemed an appropriate metaphor for his own situation, caught in forces beyond his control, yet persistently continuing. Have you reached a decision? Came Dr. Vex's voice from behind him. Oliver turned to find the alien doctor entering the lounge. I think so. Dr. Vex moved to stand beside him at the viewport. Jupiter is quite beautiful from this perspective. Yes, Oliver agreed. From a distance, it's easy to forget how hostile it would be to actually visit its surface. The pressure would crush you instantly, the winds would tear you apart even if they didn't. Yet probes survive there briefly, Dr. Vex noted, properly designed and protected. With the right adaptations, Oliver said, understanding the parallel, like my genetic mutation. Precisely. Dr. Vex's scales shifted to a calm blue. Adaptation is the key to survival in hostile environments. Sometimes those adaptations are physical, sometimes technological, sometimes social. Oliver nodded. I've decided to accept the liaison position. May I ask what influenced your decision? Something you said about giving meaning to survival, Oliver explained. When I was recovered from that debris field, the diagnostic scanner didn't see a collection of injuries or medical conditions. It saw a survivor. Maybe that's what I'm meant to be, not just someone who lived when others didn't, but someone who helps build something new because of it. A commendable perspective, Dr. Vex said. There's something else, Oliver continued. When my ship was breaking apart in those last moments before I made it to the escape pod, Captain Reynolds stayed behind to make sure the rest of us had a chance. Her last words to me were, "Make it count, Owen." I think this is how I do that. Dr. Vex placed a six-fingered hand briefly on Oliver's shoulder, in what he had learned was a Sylvani gesture of respect. Then we welcome you as liaison, Oliver Owen. The next morning, Oliver stood in the Elurin's docking bay as the ship established communication with the Jupiter research station. Commander Trex, Dr. Vex, and Officer Nara were present to formally announce the new diplomatic arrangement. Jupiter research station, this is Commander Trex of the Sylvani vessel Elurin. Trex spoke into the communications array. We are approaching with news regarding the Titan research mission disaster. After a brief delay, a human voice responded, Elurin, this is Jupiter Research Station Director Mendoza. We've been monitoring your approach. Do you have information about survivors? "We do," Commander Trex confirmed. "We recovered one survivor, mechanical systems engineer Oliver Owen." There was a pause before Director Mendoza's voice returned, heavy with emotion. "That's incredible news. We had given up hope after so much time. Is Mr. Owen able to communicate?" Oliver stepped forward at Trex's gesture. "This is Oliver Owen, Director Mendoza. I'm alive and well, thanks to the Sylvani medical team." "Mr. Owen, this is miraculous," Mendoza responded. "We'll prepare for your immediate transfer once you dock." "Actually, Director," Oliver said, making eye contact with Commander Trex, who nodded encouragingly, "I'll be staying aboard the Elurin as part of a new scientific liaison program between humans and the Sylvani Confederation. I'll be transmitting the details shortly, but I hope this can be the beginning of a more formal relationship between our peoples." There was a longer pause this time. "That's unexpected, but potentially very significant. We'll need to consult with Earth authorities, of course." "Of course," Commander Trex agreed. "In the meantime, we propose a preliminary exchange of scientific data as a gesture of good faith. Officer Nara has prepared a comprehensive package regarding radiation protection technologies that may be of interest to your station." As the diplomatic discussions continued, Dr. Vex moved to stand beside Oliver. "How does it feel?" the alien doctor asked quietly. "Strange," Oliver admitted. "A month ago, I was just an engineer on a research mission. Now, I'm some kind of interspecies diplomat with a rare genetic mutation." "And a survivor," Dr. Vex added. "Yes," Oliver agreed, watching as the massive research station came into view through the docking bay viewport. "I'm beginning to understand why your scanner chose that word. It's not just about what happened to me, it's about what happens next." As the Elurin prepared to dock with the human station, Oliver felt a sense of purpose he hadn't expected to find after the tragedy of losing his ship and crewmates. The word that had appeared on Dr. Vex's diagnostic screen wasn't just a statement of his past, it was a declaration of his future. He was a survivor, and now he had the chance to make that survival mean something.